Well, hello and g'day. Welcome to the stream. I hope everybody can hear me okay. I've recovered. G'day, Brian. How you doing, mate? I've recovered from my blue screen of death, I hope. So, computers. Sometimes I love them, sometimes they just drive me nuts and should be thrown into the sea. Not quite sure who's here at the moment. I'll have a quick look. Okay, 4. Cool. Today I thought I'd go through 3 separate topics, and I'm going to break it down into 40 minutes per topic, or 30 to 40 minutes, around about there. I'm going to start off with customizing DAZ Studio, and the reason I want to do it again is because the last time I streamed this and actually did a YouTube video as well, I missed out on a few things that, I forgot to show people a few things. So I was going through how to create your own custom toolbars, how to create your own pull-down menus, how to rearrange your toolbars around the screen, talk about categories, and also your user interface tabs. Now, normally what you're going to see is not the normal layout that I would use when I'm working in DAZ. I normally have my scene tab, parameters tab, surfaces tab. What's the other one? There's another one I can't remember. Oh, content library, of course. I have them on my second monitor, which allows me to have more individual screen space. So that's the first session. Second session, I'm going to go through a chap called Callad, who has created a set of iRay mesh lights for DAZ Studio. Now, they've been around for quite some time, and they were an item that you had to purchase on his DeviantArt site. Now, for reasons best known to him, he's now offered them for free on Renderosity. He did create originally a very similar set of lights for Preta 3D's Reality for DAZ Studio. And Reality, as you probably know, used to use the Lux render engine. Now, when DAZ introduced iRay, Reality sort of died away. So yes, we'll be going through his lights. They're excellent lights. You can't use them for everything, but they do render very quickly, I must say. Third session will be Quixel Mixer. I will go through what I know how to do. I'm by no means an expert, but I will show you the basics that will actually get you started, so you know what you're looking at, the interface, how to navigate it, what's this, what's that, and all the rest of it. So, well, welcome to Brian Farrell and I Called Elvis. Hello, really nice to see you all. Yeah, so I don't know. I think without any further ado, what was I going to say? Of all the things I've lost, I miss my mind the most. Can't remember. There was something I was going to say. Oh well, it'll come to me. So I suppose we should get into it. Can everybody let me know in the chat whether you can hear me properly, if there's an echo or it's too loud or too soft, while I get going. So, yeah, I think we'll, whoops, wrong one. Sorry, yeah, that's the one I want. Oh, thanks, Elvis, cool. Great. Customizing DAZ Studio. Big topic. Big topic. I think I might switch to this one because then you can see me looking straight at the screen or at the camera. So you can see my, yeah, well, the head doesn't get any better, but we'll see. I hope you don't get sick of looking at my head. Thanks, Brian. Glad to know. Audio and video are great. Thank you. Where am I? Thank you, Farrell. I'm glad you can. Customizing DAZ Studio. When I first started with DAZ Studio, probably around the same time as Jay vs. Lewis, give or take a year. One of the odd things was, like, every other 3D application I'd ever used, and I used to use Softimage's XSI and Autodesk Maya and a few others, AutoCAD, Autodesk's Inventor, and one of the areas that all of those software allowed you to do was customize the interface up to a point, but customize the interface so that your workflow was streamlined. And I really do abhor having to navigate through the content library to find stuff that is buried 6 or 7 folders or directories down. Drives me bananas. So back in version 4.7 or 4.8 of DAZ Studio, I asked on the forums, the DAZ forums, if there was a way to customize the icons and create your own and move them around. And for weeks and weeks and weeks, I never heard anything. There was no response. So I started playing around with it, but I could never get it to work properly. And then out of the blue, I can't remember the guy's name on the forums, he actually posted, all you have to do is go into customize or F3, the F function key on your keyboard, will bring up a dialog box, and all you have to do is drag the ones around. And what I was trying to do, and I'll show you here when I bring it up, I was trying to drag these up to here. So dragging from there up to there, and of course it doesn't work. And I was really, really, I suppose, disappointed. And I could never figure it out. So I left it for a few months, and then I came back again to it because I saw a video on YouTube. Now, I do believe it was by Sickle Yield. I could be wrong. I've had a look for it over the last couple of days, and it's not on her YouTube channel anymore. It could have been somebody else. I don't know. But they actually went through it very quickly. It was like 2 minutes, and it was very fast. So, yeah, and that got me going. Hey, Rod, how are you, sir? Nice to see you. Glad you're here. So, yeah, after, months and months of frustration, I finally, even though the video wasn't very long, it pushed me in the right direction. So that's what I'm going to show you now. Now you can create your own, excuse me, create your own custom actions, and that's the first thing you need to do. If you're not going to use an already built-in feature of DAZ Studio, you need to create a custom action. And you can see up here where I've got my my own custom toolbar. They're all actions that I have, custom actions that I have created, and I have some of them on the side here too. Where you see these here, which is how you actually change your viewport and split your viewport, they're actually inbuilt, and so are all of these here. And I'm going to show you how you can actually use them and you can move them around. So it's quite a powerful thing to do. So if I was to find, what can I do? Let's find, where are we? Shader presets. Go to iRay, DAZ Uber. Go back to that screen so you can see what I'm doing. Now, I've already set up two here. One is the iRay Uber shader. That's the base shader that you would apply to a surface on your geometry mesh. The next one is an emission Uber shader for iRay. But one I use quite frequently on Genesis 4 characters, especially for the eye surface and the cornea, is a little one called water thin. So what I'm going to do here to create a custom action that I can then use to create a toolbar or add it to a toolbar. And if I'm going too fast, Vladimir Chopin, no, it wasn't. No, I still stand by, I think it was Sickle Yield, because at the same time she offered some custom icons that I'm actually still using today that she created herself. I think it was her. I know it was a female, it wasn't a male. So yeah, I'm going to stick with Sickle Yield, but the video is no longer there. But there again, a lot of her older videos she's actually removed from her YouTube channel. So anyway, if I right click here, let me go down to the bottom left so you can see better. And I can down the bottom here create a custom action, and that will bring this up. And yes, you can put it in a subdirectory, but I just usually, you know, hit accept. Tells me that it's been created, and now I can go up to the scripts, and you'll see the water thin is down here. Okay. So where to go from here? I've created a custom action. I don't have to traverse all the way through the DAZ content library to find it. I could just come up to the pull down menu here and just click on it here. So why bother with icons? It's because they're a single click basically, whereas here you've got two clicks. Now I know that sounds insignificant. I hope you get DAZ running, Rod. I don't know why you're having so much trouble with it. I've never had trouble installing DAZ Studio on any computer. It's weird, really. Befuddles me. Right, back to... see, I got distracted. Lost my thread completely. Custom icons. To get to that, you go to, it's not under help, it's under window, workspace, customize, right here. Or you can just hit the F3 key, which is what I do, which is much easier. And this will bring up a dialog box, which you can see. Hang on, I'll go to there so you can see it better. On the left-hand side, you've got actions. Now, under actions, these are all the commands within DAZ Studio. You have your custom actions here under custom. I don't know why it doesn't say custom actions, but it just says custom. And as you can see, they're all in here. I've got quite a few because over the years, these are the DAZ to Blender ones that get created when you install DAZ to Blender. I've created these. Don't worry about the size of the images here. I just forgot to resize them back to 91 by 91 pixels and left them at their defaults. As you can see that, and now I've got the thin water here. So you've got, why am I looking at that screen? I have no idea. They're your custom actions under custom. Now, under all of this here, and this is very hard to navigate because it's terribly difficult to remember what action is in what area here. I mean, you've got your bridges here and you've got your cameras here, but it's not intuitive. I mean, you would think under edit that you would have geometry edit, but no, not under there. You have to go and actually find geometry editing and under here, and then you can see there's your convert to add a subdivision. Oh, okay. But Rod, you can install the DAZ Studio program on your C drive and have your content library on an external drive or a larger drive inside your computer. You don't have to have the content library on the C drive. But you like things to be big. Okay, fair enough. One of the things that I think areas that DAZ could improve this customize is to actually have a search function. Yeah. Well, I've only got a 500 gig system drive, C drive, but I only install, well, excuse me, the very basic programs in it. I mean, DAZ Studio is there, but all my content library is on, I've got a NAS device, a network attached storage, 20 terabytes. So I've got that, it's all sitting on there, and that's where I keep all my intellectual property, all my data is on that NAS drive, which is also backed up regularly. So, but yeah, DAZ is on my C drive. I also have a D drive, a data drive, that is a 1 terabyte drive. But it's not an SSD like my system drive, it's just a 2.5 inch spinning disk hard drive. So yeah, I also install programs on that because I don't like to fill up my Hi Chris, nice to see you, mate. G'day. I like to keep it lean and mean because on an SSD, if you get below 20 to 25%, you're going to start having problems. So you really should. So anyway, back to customizing. I really do wish DAZ would incorporate a search function in here so you could just type in what it is you're looking for and it would bring it up. So the left-hand side in the actions pane are the stuff that you want to put into the right-hand pane, the right-hand pane here. And as you can see, if I go under advanced, it's going to have toolbars. Now these here all correspond to the toolbars that I have across down the left-hand side and down the right-hand side with DAZ Studio. Okay, and if I go into toolbars, you can see here, and I don't know why there's a help toolbar. I don't even know what's in it, but if I go into oh yes I do. It's these. I don't use it. It's over here. It's over on the right hand side. Hang on, I'll show you. This here is this one up here. And I don't use it, so I'll probably eventually end up getting rid of it. Where am I? Go back to where I was. When these are all your toolbars. Now you would think well, you can add toolbars in here. You can add separators, which are those horizontal lines. But once you've created a toolbar, and I'll show you that in a minute, you then have to go create the toolbar in here. I'll go back. slower. In the Toolbars tab, you can create your toolbars in this tab, but you can't click in an empty space. You actually have to click on an existing toolbar and then create the toolbar by using Add Toolbar. Now be very careful where you click, because if I click up here, it's going to put the toolbar underneath Create. So if I click on Backdrop here, it will create it under Backdrop. So be careful where you click, because you can't reorder them. I haven't found a way to reorder them. There's no way that you can actually drag it around, because it just doesn't do it. So, and in menus, these are all your pull down menus across the top. All these in here are what you have across the top, and you've got your hang on, I'll have to get out of that to show you, and I will in a minute, but these are all your pull down menus that you have along the top left hand corner. When you actually create a new toolbar in this pane, you have to go back to Advanced, and you will see it here, but it will be off. So you have to right click on it and hit Enable, not Disable, but Enable. So if I go in now and hit Help, because I don't use the Help one, and I'll show you what happens, because I'll go back into this one. If I right click on that and disable the toolbar, and watch what happens when you come up to the top corner here. If I hit Apply and then Accept, it's disappeared. Now I can bring it back, but I don't use it, so I'll get rid of it. It gives me more real estate. So that's how you enable them and disable them. So I think what I'm going to do now is just create a new toolbar in here under Backdrop, which is these up here, which has, it doesn't really matter what you call them as long as they just appear. But I'll show you a trick, because you can't reorder them in here. I'll show you a trick in a minute where you can actually place them yourself. So if on Backdoor and I just go, what will I call it? Add a toolbar, call it Stream Toolbar. All right. Interesting. Why has that not done that? It's making a liar of me. Okay, we'll put it here. Add a toolbar. I'll just call it Test. That'll do. What are you doing to me? It's making a liar at me. Annoying. Very annoying. Ugh. Now it got it. Grr. Why, I ask? Why? Okay, we've created the toolbar in here. Annoyware, yeah, dead right. Activities. expand the toolbars, and down here you will see, where's it gone? Oh, sorry. My fault. Brain not engaged. You have to click apply and accept, then F3 again, come into here, and it will be here, but it will be off. Do you know, thank you, Daria. For the longest time, I couldn't figure this part out. And it used to drive me bananas. Every time you do something, you have to hit apply and then accept and then come back into F3, which is an agricultural way of doing it, DAZ 3D. But anyway, it is what it is. Maybe they'll change it in the future. Right, now you've created your toolbar. Now what you have to do is enable it. Now it says on, okay? And as you can see, I've got help is off and I've got tools that's off. I need to crunch, click on apply and accept. And you'll see, if I can go to the top right-hand corner here, very faintly there's another bar. You can see a bar there, and when I hover over it, I get the arrows, the 4 compass arrows, which means the toolbar's there, but there's nothing in it, okay? So we will, oops, what am I doing? We will go back to F3. Sorry, excuse me. Ooh, screen center. And now we've got our toolbar, but there's nothing in it. And you can see it with that faint bar I showed you before. But I want to put some content in it. So let's find out, let's figure out what I want to put in there. Let's just accept that. And I don't know why DAZ does that flicker thing, but click and pray. Well, DAZ Studio is click and pray pretty much most of the time. Let's find some content that I can put in there. Yeah, I know, I did that on purpose, but now you can. See, there's the top. I do it on purpose so you can actually see what I'm doing, but I want to put something in there, but I'm not quite sure what. Complete freedom. Hello and welcome. Glad you could make it. Awesome. Ah, dear. And Farrell, as far as not seeing the whole window, I do flick between areas of DAZ Studio that I want to highlight or bring forward. I could go to the whole screen, but some people find it very hard to see, so I'll continue doing it. I mean, I could go to that if you wish, and so you can see the whole screen, but then it gets extremely small. So we'll go with this for the moment. Yes, I want to populate that toolbar. So what do I want to put in there? I don't know. Let me find something. Doesn't really matter what it is. There we go. We'll use the robot spider here. We'll just right click on it, create a custom action, put it in scripts. Then we can go into F3, go into custom, scrolly down till we find our little robo spider here. Okay. Then we go over to our toolbars tab in here. And there's our test toolbar that I created just before. So I grab this from the left-hand side and I drop it onto test. Now that's put it in the toolbar, but it won't appear up here yet. Sorry, until I click apply and accept. Now, if you're going to put more items in here, you can right click on it here and you can add a separator, and then right click on there and then add another separator. And I'm going to show you how to put some more items in there right now. So apply, accept, and now we have our little robo spider in the new toolbar. I could also go into the robo spider here, go into poses, and I can add them by creating a custom action. Now, it's the only way to do it. I wish there was a way where you could actually drag this up into that toolbar, but it doesn't work. So it's just one of those things. But we'll do that one. Create a custom action, put it in there. Okie dokie, back into F3, go back to our toolbars, to our test, go to our custom actions, down here, oops, grab that and put it in the middle. Or I could have created a new toolbar under this so that it would cascade and you would get a clickable arrow. No, it's not going to do it. It's going to make a liar of me again. Anyway, I don't know. I think it's version 4.15 of DAZ Studio. It's not doing what I want it to do. So now we've got a custom toolbar up here, much the same as I have the others. All of these along the top you actually get with DAZ Studio. But if you don't like them where they are, yes, the dreaded 4.15. There are things in it that it causes problems that I've never come across in any previous version of DAZ Studio. Oh, Brian, I don't even want to think about DAZ 5. I think it's going to be a complete new learning curve, to be honest. Not even sure what it's supposed to be coming out now or in the next week or two. The pre-beta or whatever it's called. So not really sure what it's doing. So, or October, yeah, we'll see. But there's September in the middle. So it could be, who knows? Who knows? So all you have to do here now is it's one click. You don't have to traverse through all of this stuff over here to find it. It's just one click. And in comes the robot spider. Then with the robot spider, you've now got your poses here, and you can just one click on that and you can pose it. It's just easy as that. Now, if you don't like where this toolbar is, once you hover over it here, oops, you can see the compass arrows like north, south, east and west. You don't like spiders, Brian? Well, I'm not particularly fond of them. You can actually drag it. You can drag it around and you can put it over here if you want. You could have a whole row of just character stuff on one side. Okay. Now you can do the same with the toolbars that are down here. If I didn't want, and as I said to you earlier, I work with my content library tab, scene tab, parameters tab, and surfaces tab on another monitor. So I get more real estate. So when I'm working, my DAZ interface that I'm working in is that big because I've got all the other panes that I need to use on my other monitor. Lob's running around, yeah. Yeah, I've got a few here. We call them huntsmen. They're the big, long-legged. They look like tarantulas, but they're not. They're completely harmless and they're non-venomous. So, yeah, I don't know where I got that spider from. I think it's from the DAZ store. I must have got it ages ago. Anyway, this is how I normally work. That's my screen when I'm working. And as I said, all the other panes, the parameters, scene, content library and surfaces tab, and maybe a few others, I'll have on the other monitor. Yeah, it is a DAZ spider, Chris. Yes, it is. That way I get a lot of real estate. Okay. Yes, there are non-poisonous things in Australia. How about that? But back to where we were, and I'm running over time here with this session, but that's okay. The next session just won't be as long. I'm not poisonous, and I live in Australia. Well, am I poisonous? Maybe, I don't know. You can drag these toolbars around. You don't have to leave them where they are. And it doesn't really matter what layout you're using. And I'm going to go through that in a minute too. I can grab that, which was on the left-hand side, and I can now bring it up here and stack it under there. So if I don't want my toolbars on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side, I can just grab them from here and drag them around. Okay? Now, once you've dragged them around, and this is what I'm used to seeing in a lot of the major 3D packages, other than Blender, of course, is that everything is up the top of the screen, and it means that when you're looking at the screen, you've got it up the top and you can see them, whereas you don't have to dart your eyes to the left and to the right, so you can move them around. Once you've got your layout the way you want it, and that includes moving your panes around, which you can do. For instance, I can grab my content library, or let's just grab PowerPose, and I can bring it into the viewport here. Now from here, I can then drag that off screen onto my second monitor, which is how I work. I have all of the tabs on my second monitor. So then I don't have to worry about bring it back in here, grab that, and put it back where it was. Because I think the real estate, particularly if you're working on a smaller monitor than I have, which I've got two 32-inch monitors. If your monitors are relatively small, 23-inch or even below, the more real estate you have for your viewport, the easier it makes it for you to work. So I'm just going to drag that back and put it back where it was. Whenever you've customized DAZ Studio, the first thing you do, whether you've created new toolbars, created new icons, new pull-down menus, moved your toolbars around, moved your tabs around either onto another screen, or you've just moved them around, the first thing you should do is go up to Window, your Workspace, and save your layout under here. Okay, and then give it a name, because you can actually bring it back. So if you actually muck it up, yep, you are spoiled when you've got dual monitors, Rod. Give it a name, save it, because if you ever muck it up, you can always come back into Window, Workspace, and where is it? It's very hard to see. Select a layout here, and then I can go in, and these are all the ones that I've actually created myself in here. If I can show you the center of the screen. These I've created. The ones up here are the ones that come with DAZ Studio. So you can bring it back very quickly. The other thing you should do yes, you should always back things up. The other thing you should do is go into where is it? Workspace. Sorry. Where is it? They keep moving it. Style. And then you can select the style, which is all of these in here. So save your workspace as a name, save your style as the same name, so you know that they go together. That way you can bring it back, and you don't have a problem if you muck it up anyway. So, and you can actually have different workspaces and different layouts for different workflows. If you're doing one for rigging, you can have a rigging one, or if you're doing pure animation and you want your timeline or animate larger, you can create one of those. If you're doing what's the pain called? Whether you're doing shader bricks in the shader IDE, you could create one for those. If you're creating iRay shaders or 3D light shaders, so you can create your own workspaces and your own styles. And it's very powerful. So I think what I'm going to do now is show you how to create a pull down menu. Now, as you can see here, I've already created one. I've called it DAZ characters, and I've got Genesis 3 in here, Genesis 8, and your base Victoria 2, and then some fully customized Michael and Victoria 4 that I created. And they contain every morph for those two characters known to man baked into the character. So so I'll show you now how to create a excuse me, pull down menu. It's the same principle, but with a few warnings. Menus. This is your pull down area. And as I said, all these along the top here correspond to what's in here. Now, the way you want is the main toolbar. And as you can see, it corresponds, the file, hang on, I need to go here. So if sorry, wrong window, bring that over there. Yes, Rod, my son's got 3 and they're all curved and they're all 30-something inches. As you can see, File, Edit, Create, Render, Connect, Windows, Scripts, DAZ, Studio, Help. They correspond to all the ones up the top here. Okay? Now you can click on here and you can add what they call a submenu, which is under the main menu bar. But be very careful where you click, because where you click is where it will create the toolbar, and you can't rearrange them. Okay, so if I wanted to create another one under here and add a submenu and call that learn to spell animals. Okay, it hasn't appeared yet because we've got to do the old apply accept that. So we do the old apply accept, and now we've got an animals pull down, but there's nothing in it. Okay, so we then have to go back to our lovely F3 key. No, we don't. We have to actually find some animals and create a custom action. So if I scroll up, let's go into animals. What do we want? Let's go big cat, right? So I'll create a custom action here. And I could put it in the submenu. If you find that your script pull down gets too long, then create in here, just type a name for whatever you want to call it, and it will put it in a submenu where you can actually, it'll click outside. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to muck up my layout. So I'll just say accept, and that will put it in there. And I'll put, what do we want? Yeah, I'll do that one as well. Custom action, thank you. Might just leave it at that so you can see, just as a quick example. So now we go back into our trusty F3 key. We go up to our menus, into our main menu bar. And as you can see here, we've got animals. Now it's the same thing. We scroll down until we find okay, click, drag, click, drag, apply, accept. Now when I go back into animals, we have our DAZ big cat. You could have added it to an animals toolbar over here. Well, anyway, you could have added it to an animals toolbar. Really, it really doesn't matter, whichever method you prefer. So now there's our big cat. I think that's probably, other than creating your own custom icons for the DAZ commands, if you wanted to say geometry editing, I mean, I made these myself in Photoshop, and they must be 91 by 91 or 90 by 90. PNG format is better. It will honour JPEG, but PNG format is better. And the way that you assign a graphic or an icon to the action here is by going to right-clicking on it and going to change icon. And once you change icon, it will send you away. And this is where I keep all of the graphics that I have for my icons. As you can see here, there's 0 pose, 0 shape. Not quite sure it will tell me what size it is. But this is where I will put the icon. You can put it anywhere you like, but it does prefer to live within the program files of a direct folder of DAZ Studio, or in the DAZ 3D uses app data roaming, DAZ 3D resources, icons. You can put it in there too, but it's like things need to be in your runtime directory or your content directory for DAZ Studio to find it. So same way. Caveat or warning for Hoodlyboom, for when you've customized DAZ Studio and you've created your own custom actions and your own icons for the action, if you ever have to uninstall or reinstall DAZ Studio, whether it be manually or through DAZ Install Manager, you will lose it. It's gone. It does not retain it. It gets removed like everything else gets removed when you uninstall it. So I suggest that whatever you do, you keep a backup copy of it. I will post a set of instructions on what folders you need to keep backup, keep a copy somewhere else. So if you have to reinstall DAZ Studio, all you do is just copy those folders back and it will come magically back. Right, I think that's it for customizing the DAZ interface at the moment, and we all know that you can drag these panes around and you can have different layouts. Organized? No, I'm not, Rod. Wish I really was. What's it now? I've been on for coming up an hour. I think I'm going to take a very, very quick 5-minute break and make a cup of coffee. And if you'd all like to go and do the same, I will be back in 5 or 6 minutes. So, yeah, I just want to get rid of this and that. And I will be back in 5 minutes. Okay, and I'm back. I hope everybody else is back. While I was making the coffee, excuse me, I had a thought. I've been on for a little over an hour now. I'm a bit behind schedule. I want to go through Callad's iRay mesh lights, and I was going to do the last session on Mixer, but I think Mixer itself deserves a full 2-hour stream. So today I'm just going to do, for the next hour, I'm going to go through the iRay mesh lights, and my next stream, which will be Thursday or Wednesday on the US East Coast, I will do a full 2 hours on Quixel Mixer. Also, maybe not next stream, but the one after that, I want to try and incorporate Discord voice chat, so I can have a couple of other people join me in voice chat on Discord into the Twitch stream. So that's my plan. So I'm going to start now going through Callad's mesh lights, which are particularly good. Complicated to use, but we'll go through it. So now I just got to find what I want to load, and what I might do is go back to this one just while DAZ Studio loads what I'm looking for, because I don't want Twitch to get upset. That's the one I want now. This will take a minute or so to load. I don't know why, because I think I'm having some network issues with my gigabit switch. It's not been playing properly lately. Okay, come on, hurry up. And we have liftoff, Houston. Right. Oh, let me change that because that's a bit glary. I've been playing around with Callad's lights. Now, I've had them for a long time, and unlike majority of you, I actually bought them off his DeviantArt site. Hello, Jade. Very nice to see you. I'm glad you could make it. Yeah, I do have a very nice mug. It's yeah, look, see? WP Guru mug. Hi, Julia. Wow, the gang's all here, eh? Nice. I'm impressed. Thank you very much for joining me. I am, yeah, I'm very happy. I'm blessed. Yeah, I've been playing with Callad's lights, and as I said, I actually had to buy them before they were free on Renderosity. So you've got about close to $100 worth of lights for free. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the light dome. Now, the light dome itself. Now, before I really get into it, one of the things you need, if you've got dual monitors, it would be a very, very good idea, and I'll just double click on it and bring it up. Oop, wrong key. Oh, come on. View, page display, 2-page scrolling, Control 0. Is to follow along with Callad's instructions. Now, he has a user guide and in PDF format on every single light and every single setting. His documentation for this light set is outstanding. A lot of people that sell content could take a leaf out of his book and document to the level of this detail. It's absolutely awesome. So keeping in mind that once you start using them, but at least for the first time, go through his documentation on another screen, or if you don't have another screen and you have access to a printer, print them out. So you've got them in front of you and you can leaf through it. because they are very, very comprehensive. So I'll just close that down. Now, all I've done in here is used some of the basic settings straight out of his user guide for the light dome. Okay, so I'm just going to switch on the iRay render, and I'll go through the settings in a minute. This will just take a few seconds to initialize. And that's for mesh lights, that's pretty awesome. And I think that's using 4 or 5 different mesh lights. Just hang on, I'll just grab this, put it on the other screen. Where are we? Going down, 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 down. Yes, it's using 5 lighting presets for the zones, excuse me, on the light dome. Now, the light dome is just basically a series of mesh lights in panels, which I'm going to show you right now. Okay. Now, we'll turn that off. We'll go into texture shaded, split the view. Okay. If go into perspective, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. You can see here all the different colors of the lights. And if I go into texture shaded mode, you will see that for the main ones, he's actually got them labeled. So you've got front, and that front is front looking at the character through the camera. There's right, back, left, and all those panels down, going from top to bottom, from the yellow right down to the purple at the bottom, are what you can choose to set the lights up manually. Okay, and all of these in here correspond to which of the panels that you want to set. Now, at the moment, I've got the mesh light dome set up with in the surfaces tab, and you can see down here in the surfaces tab, you can see all of these are the surfaces, and they correspond to each of the panels down here and along here. Now, you can either select them through here, or if you activate your surface tool up here, you can then actually pick them here and set them one by one. Okay. What I was doing was going in over to the left here, getting the luminance value and clicking on it. And of course, what it was doing, it was actually applying the luminance value to all of the panels, which is not what you want to do. So I read the guide again, like I had to. And the trick is to actually hold down the control key, find a luminance value, double click, and where it says surfaces here, select, change it from all to selected, and then accept it. And you can do this, and you can change the luminance value of each of these different panels to just change the value. Okay, I'm just mucking around here, so it's going to change the way it's done. Okay, now this is the first method, by selecting each of the panels, the mesh light panels in the light dome. Now, if I turn this to iRay now, the luminance values on those mesh light panels will have changed. Subtly, but they have changed. Okay. The second method, and I'll keep repeating myself here, read the user guide. Read the user guide because he's got some awesome tips in there. The lighting's pretty spectacular. The only thing I've added to this, because it is my want, is I have a custom spotlight which is set to specular only, just to bring out the highlights on the eye surface. On the surface of the eyes, I should say. But that's the only one. And if I turn it off, it doesn't really make a squat of difference in this render because you can't really see her eyes. But I like to add the specular eye light that I created a long time ago when iRay first came out. So that's the first method. Or one method, sorry, it's not the first, it's just one method. Texture shaded. No, I want to go to wireframe, sorry. Now, the second method is to use the light presets, which you get from down here. So it's all of these here. And if you read the user guide, this will set up, and it's they are surface materials. And if I actually select the mesh light dome, I can go through and select these. Now, this is the only time you don't need to double click. Hey, Zidane, pleased to see you. Thank you for raiding with a party of 9. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Cool. Cheers. Yes. Is I can set these, just reset all the dome lights for a start off because I've been playing around with them. So if I double click on that, whoops, I'm looking at the right-hand window. So now I've reset all the luminance values for the light dome. You can actually select, and I've got to stop trying to click in the right-hand window, which is my OBS, because I end up moving things around. Oh dear. And you can see that down here that you've got all these different lights, and you can just about see where the white light is. The orange ball is center of your scene at 0, 0, 0, but you can actually see the white shape is actually the panel, corresponds to the panel in the light dome. Once you start using it on a regular basis, you actually get used to which ones are which. In his user guide, he actually explains which of these correspond, which of these in here correspond to the panels over here. So it is important, and I'll keep repeating it, read the user guide. Use it, follow along with the user guide. So I'm just going to set, and you don't have to hold the control key down here. It will just do it. Because I didn't have it selected. Trap for young players. Just going to play around with a few. See what I can break. And now we'll try a render and see how the lighting's changed. Subtle, I know, but I think to actually show it properly, I'm going to delete the light dome. And I'm going to bring it back. And I'm also going to scale it down to 20%, which is what he recommends for smaller scenes in DAZ Studio, but at 20% the head's poking through the top, so I usually make it about 35%, and that gives it a better ratio. So yes, welcome Raiders. I hope you're enjoying what I'm doing. So now there's no light set in on the light dome. So I'm just going to go in and select, I don't know, just that one and see what that does. Now, I'm not an expert with all this lighting, so with his lights, but you can see the subtle difference. Okay? And I can reset all the lights and it will then render black. No, it won't. Because no. Oh, do I have that on? Scene only, idiot. Eventually. Now let's see what happens. Now, see, I had it set to dome and scene. You need to set it to scene. Things you forget when you get old. So now you can see the subtlety in the lights. Now I can reset that and go away, and I can play around with these and get all sorts of different effects. Now you can combine them. And don't forget that here, reset lights will just take their luminance value down to 0. So you're basically starting again. And then add another one here. And it's very quick. They render very quickly. Easy mistake to make, yes, Jay, it is. And unfortunately, the older I get, the more I'm making. Yes, I can zoom out to full screen. There you go. Actually, I'll do it with that. There you go. Sorry, I was stuck in one OBS layout, and I forgot to go back to full screen. So yes. And you can play around with all of these lights in here. I mean, there's if I reset all the lights, I mean, it's, to be honest, it's really good fun to go through what each of these does. And as you can see down the bottom here, he's got some presets already set up to give you it is a fascinating tool for lighting. So I'm going to click on that one. And as you can see, each of these presets, and he's put a lot of work into this, give a different lighting effect. They are really, really awesome to work with. What else have we got? We've got color filters. Haven't really been through color filters, to be quite honest. Oh well, let's find out what it does. Oh, there you go. Color filters, bit like gel lights. Give yourself some really wacky noise. What do you mean noise? You might be hearing my fan a little bit because I'm in iRay mode. Oh, noise, you mean in the image? Oh, sorry. I hate getting old. No, there's no noise. Hey, Cliff, nice to see you. Glad you could make it. Yay. Yeah, I was just playing with lights in DAZ. Glad you're here. No, Feral, I don't notice any noise, any fireflies, any black specks. He's done an awesome lot of work. Yes, it is the usual noise. But don't forget, that's just a preview. It's not the full render. And I'll just turn it off iRay for a minute. You've also got color filters. You've got black and white gels. I'm not going to go through all of them because we would be here all day. You've also got other gels. You've got color gels. I'm not quite sure what this will do, but we'll give it a whirl because we're doing it together today. Let's see what happens. Interesting. Oh, very cool. Very cool indeed. I'm not quite sure I'm doing this right, but very cool. And then, of course, you've got your, yeah, very cyberpunk, Jay, very cyberpunk. You've got your gobos for your lights. And if you don't know what a gobo is, it's on a light box that the photographers use. They have a camera that's poking through this light box, and at the front they have what's called a snoot, and that is actually a gobo. It means go before. So you can vary the lighting from harsh to soft, and it's along those lines. I haven't set up a gobo in here, so it's yeah. So that's the mesh light. Sorry, the mesh light. That is the light dome, which I'm now going to delete. Turn that on so we can see, and go into his normal mesh lights. So we've covered, well, I've quickly covered the light dome. These are the individual mesh lights. Now he has a square mesh light, a round mesh light, and a curved mesh light. He also has mesh lights are the same as area lights in Blender and Lightwave and a lot of other 3D programs, where you can actually use a primitive and add an emission shader to that primitive, so you can use it as a light. In the old days, they tended to be slower to render, but these days they've got a lot faster. And yeah, so I'm just going to show you the actual different mesh lights. And the good thing is he's actually parented a camera to each of the lights, so they operate much the same as the inbuilt DAZ lights, in that you can select them in the scene tab and then up here, and I'll show you that, and you can look through them and position them properly. He's done an absolutely brilliant job. I'll start with the curved light. Okay, so and as you can see, there's the camera, and that's actually the mesh light there. Okay, the CL, that's the curve, that's the mesh itself. And if I scroll down here, you can see it's got emission attached to it. So it is actually, it will give off light. So selecting that there, and then selecting it up in here under your cameras, you can then position it, wherever you like. Okay, you can just move it around, use that as your key light, then go back into your perspective, and then I'll put a square light, and I will take that all the way around the back like that. So now we've got a backlight, we've got, and I might actually move that curved light a bit so that it's more over that way. Perspective, and put in a round light. Where are we? And move that round so it's more like a fill light. Okay. Now with all of these, if you're in the surfaces tab, you can actually play around with your luminance and the color temperature as well. Here is the snoot, which I don't have attached at the moment, which is your gobo. And if I go into parameters, I don't think, yes, snoot on or snoot off. So I can actually, that's the round one at the back. It's not going to really do much. Was the round one at the back? Yes. It's normally the snoots are facing your subject, but you can turn them on and off. And if I just pan across here and turn that on, you can see there's the snoot working. Good for doing close-up portraits, which is what most photographers use them for. So you don't get light spill going everywhere. It's focused. Very snooty. Yes, I am very snooty. And you can use with the snoots. You use them with these gobos here. So in here, where's the for the mesh lights? I mean, you've got you can scale them. You can. He's got camera stuff in here where you can tilt cameras. You can scale it, etc., etc. But down towards the bottom, apart from the tiles which are used with the gobo, he has the illumination down here in that corresponds to that corresponds to the luminance here. At the moment you can see it's set to 15 on the round mesh light. I can set it to 256, and that will change the luminance. Sorry. Now let's just see what we get out of that, and you can play around with it until the cows come home. It's just straight out of the box, and you can see that there's more fill light than there is key light. So if I select the curved light and do that, that's brightened it right up. Okay. And we can just take it down. Well, technically, iRay doesn't have shadows. Sorry, you can't play around with the shadows in iRay lights, Feral. It's not like 3 to light where you can have different types of shadows. These are real world shadows. How can I explain that? Easy peasy. I will just add a spotlight. Okay. And if I go into lights, you can still change it to shadow map or ray traced, but you're better off leaving it alone and letting iRay yes, sort of, but I don't touch it because I like the shadows that iRay produces. They're pretty groovy, so we'll just get rid of that light. So, and you can combine the light dome and the mesh lights if you wanted to. It's pretty awesome in what you can do with these lights, but it's important to read the user guide, and I'll keep saying it because his user guide is very comprehensive. Very, very comprehensive. You can use the gels with them. You can use the gobos, sorry, with the mesh lights. What else can you do? You can use a color filter. You can even create your own. So get rid of that. You can actually create your own gels and images, and this is where you would put them. Just replace these ones in here. And you can create your own gels and gobos and your colors and your filters and your black and white gels. If I was to select that and say use, let's see if this works. Not quite sure that did much. Well, that was subtle, but it, maybe I need to be in surfaces. Not quite sure. I've never really used gels a lot. Doesn't seem to be changing it, and I'm probably not using it properly. You don't have to apply shadows. It does use iRay. Can you say if they're also heavy when it comes to... no, the renders are very quick, but there again, it will depend on very much on your scene. with iRay, whether you're using photometric lights that come with DAZ Studio, or whether you're using mesh lights, which are still photometric, but they're mesh lights. They're not spotlights or point lights. The one thing I've seen that affects DAZ Studio scenes, render times blowing out, is the number of items in your scene. Whether you're using depth of field on the camera, that can add to the render time. Whether you have a lot of reflective surfaces also adds to your render time. And by reflective, I'm not talking just about mirrors or water. I'm talking about metallic surfaces, high gloss surfaces. Yeah, it will add to your render time. Straight out of the box, these mesh lights from iRay mesh lights from Callad are pretty cool. If I was to go through every single one of these step by step, this stream would be about 18 hours long. I don't want to sit and stream for 18 hours. I know some friends of mine stream 24 hours sometimes. I can't do it. I won't do it. So I just wanted to give you an overview. And for, I mean, the big bonus here, guys, is that they're free. Go and get them. Even if you only ever use them once or every now and again, just get them, try them, play around with them. That's how I learnt lighting, was just playing around with it in DAZ Studio, not in other programs, was just playing around with it. I mean, before iRay came and I was rendering in 3 to light, that was all done with smoke and mirrors, to be quite honest. I got some wonderful renders out of 3 to light, but it really, iRay is far superior. I mean, I still can get great renders out of 3 to light, but unfortunately, it cooks my CPU, or it overtasks my CPU in 3 to light. Funny fact, my iMac, my Apple iMac, renders 3 to light on CPU, even though it's got an NVIDIA card in it, renders CPU 3 to light on the CPU faster than Windows does. Yet my Windows machine is faster with iRay than my iMac. Who knows? Although it's only got a 750 with 2 gig on it, I think, inside. So, yeah. The Macs have always been better or faster renderers on a CPU. I mean, the Macs that don't have an NVIDIA card in it, so you can't use iRay if you don't have an NVIDIA card, they've always rendered faster, excuse me, on CPU. I mean, I've got another Mac which has a Radeon ATI card in it with only 512 meg of memory on it, which is absolutely useless. It renders some DAZ images in 3 to light quicker than iRay. But I don't use my Macs that often these days, so they're getting a bit long in the tooth, and I keep having to repair them, so I don't use them that often. So that pretty much Callad's iRay lights. Go and get them, play around with them. I hope you got something out of the first half of the stream with the DAZ customization. It's Yes, it's been interesting. I'm sorry I didn't get around a mixer, but as I said, when I was making my coffee in the coffee break, I decided I wouldn't be doing mixer justice if I only spent 30 minutes on it. I'd like to spend a full 2 hours. So next stream, which will be Thursday the 5th, which is the 4th US East Coast. Filament, I'm not quite sure whether Filament uses mesh lights now. Oh, you're very welcome, Farrell. You're very, very welcome. The more streams I do, the more topics I will cover, and to be quite honest, the more comfortable I'll get with streaming again. It does take it out of you, as Jay and Chris will attest to, and Cliff and a few others here that stream. I enjoy it, but once the stream's over, I'm pretty much done. I'm spent. And I actually have to go shopping after this, so I'll be walking around the shopping centre like a zombie. No, not quite a zombie, but yeah. What else was I going to say? I'm not quite sure. Filament, the last time I checked, Filament didn't use mesh light, didn't honour mesh lights, but I could be wrong. I have a big group. Oh, okay. That's very nice to know. And thank you very much for the raid. That was, yeah, I'm very impressed. Thank you very much. I think animation in Filament, I'm not. No, there's no mesh light support in Filament. Yeah, thanks, Zidane. Thank you very much for the raid. I really do appreciate it. It's not bad for only being back for the first official stream. The last stream was basically just a test, but it really is nice to be back. And I will get more comfortable with it as time goes on. And not rush through things like I have a tendency to do. So, oh, okay, Farrell. Yeah, you posted on Discord. I'm not sure I can help it because I don't use Filament. I only use iRay. So, yeah. I'd like to raid, but I still haven't figured out how, Chris. So, no, I don't know. I can't. It'll take me far too long to figure out. I've got to try and figure it out. No, I do have to figure it out so I can return the favour to people that raid me. I've also got to figure out how to create shout outs like you do. Oh, okay, type in raid, will do. Okay. Right, thank you, Mr. Cox. Okay, guys, that's it for me for today. Thank you. See you all next stream on Thursday, which is Wednesday for the US East Coast. So that's a question best put to Jay or Chris. Yeah. Okay, guys, we're going to go raid, so I will catch you later. Bye. Ta-da.